Good morning, Charles at the track. Look at there's people walking in the background on the track, Charles. You got 3D animated green screen.
That's right. I got the 3D effect.
Indeed. So you ready to tackle some Gulfstream today?
Yes, I like this card today, so yeah, I'm ready to tackle it.
Yeah, I saw that you had a lot of horses in there that you wanted to bet to win today. So hopefully they actually do what Charles thinks they're going to do. Before we get to that, real quickly, last night we had on trainer Carrie Brion on Horse Center. Sean and I had to fill in for Julie. Hopefully she'll be back this evening. But if you didn't catch that, Carrie Brion trains the flats or the thoroughbreds, the ones that run in circles like we know, but also trains the jumpers, which was a very interesting show going into it. I didn't know what to expect, but in the end, it turned out to be very entertaining, very informative, and I now have a trip to Nashville to go film one of their biggest meets. I guess it's their version of the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, down in Nashville? I thought they did a lot of their jumping in Delaware and stuff.
Well, they do, but I guess they have like their big meet down in Nashville on May the 13th. So we'll be down there filming it. She says it's a really good time. So we're going to absolutely 1000% go check that out. We're going to make good on that invitation. Tonight, if you join us, we have on Sean and maybe Julie again. They're going to have on the X-Man, Xavier Perez. That'll be on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Best way to make sure you don't miss any of the pick shows or any of the interview shows or any of the stuff that we have planned around here is to hit the subscribe button while you're on YouTube if you haven't done so already. Also follow us on our social sites at Horse Race, the number 2 day, Horse Race Today. You can catch up with us at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, just about anywhere social media stuff happens. Yesterday at Parks, I got to say, I'm a little upset with Scary Creations. I don't know if you watched our show yesterday or not, Charles, but I would have run the card if not for that 1-7 horse that Scary Creations brought in there with the first-time starter. And the sad thing was, I was debating between it and the 6, and I settled on the 6 because of the works instead of the 7 because of the price. So goes that way some days, right?
That's right.
Indeed.
Well, it is.
It's horse racing, and that's
here we are jumping on Scary, and he's not even one of the people that does handicapping on the show.
No, but I'm not jumping on him. I'm saying he jinxed me, man. Jinxed me.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. Every horse player has a reason when they lose, right?
That's right. You got to find one.
All right, so let's see if we can find winners today. Charles says he likes this card. We're going to do Gulfstream Park today. Was just down there last Saturday for the Holy Bull, as I mentioned. If you haven't had a chance to go to Gulfstream Park and you're a horse player that wants to go visit different tracks, I would definitely check off Gulfstream Park as one you want to go visit, as well as Tampa Bay Downs if you're up in that Tampa Bay area as well. Got to love that inside Tampa Bay Downs, they have Nathan's hot dogs. And if you haven't had Nathan's hot dogs,
they're the best.
Yes, and you like hot dogs, man, you got, even if you're just driving by and you want a hot dog, step in and get one. But anyway, off at the first race at Gulfstream Park today is 1 mile on the turf. It's an optional claiming race for $32,000. The purse is $35,000. And if we look at the type of horse that typically wins at a mile on that grass course, we'll find tactical speed does work. 30% of the horses have gone wire to wire so far. Post positions are fair, except for the 2 and the 3, which play a little bit under par. Charles, for the first time today, let's look at our 1,000 simulations for odds and 1,000 simulations to get a sense of who's going to be on the front and who offers some value.
Well, when it comes to having the lead with all the scratches, I think it now is going to lie on the 8 to probably most likely have the lead. I don't think he'll have a big lead, but I think he'll be cruising pretty good on that. And then when it comes to simulation odds, we have the 1. There's a slight overlay here. The horse is supposed to be about 2.5 to 1. You've got morning line at 6. And that's it when it comes to the simulation odds.
Yeah, with all these scratches, with the 2 out, the 4 and the 5 out, I do think you're going to see the odds for many of these horses trend lower. I would be afraid if you have a horse in here and the odds go up, to be honest with you. All right, let's take a look at our way to the winner's circle worksheet. This is the sheet I put together to find out how horses like to run when they win, to see if indeed a horse will get the race it's looking for. E are the pilots. EPs can be pilots or co-pilots. We don't have any of those in here today. The pressure horses are the type that typically like to co-pilot. They usually don't pilot, and the 2 of those are out of this race, so that knocks out a lot of the early speed. Another horse in here, the 4, which had some early pace, it's not going to be here either. So as you mentioned, Charles, there's a lot going on, and if this 8 horse is close, he has a huge late pace advantage over the rest of the field. So if you're right, and that 8 gets the lead, he might go wire to wire, even though he's not a wire to wire type. Is that how you see it?
That's how I see it 100%. This horse won last time out. Well bet last time. You got a hot jockey trainer combo there. Third after a layoff. Everyone knows now by now. This is my favorite angle. This horse is now going to say, "Come and catch me." So I think everyone else is be picking up the minor pieces here. So my second choice here is the 1. This horse drops in class. He cuts back in distance. He does get Paco, and trainer gets 16% overall. And then my third choice here is the 7. He has some of that tactical speed. He might be the only one that might be able to challenge the 8 a little bit. He should like this distance. Rosario's aboard, so that makes this horse a little interesting. And then my final pick, my price horse, the 6, drops in class. This is second after a layoff, and it looks like he kind of fits with these type of horses.
Yeah, I like the 8 horse. Oh, you do have a bet in here, right?
Yeah, I'm going to start my pick 5. I'm going to single that 8. And then my second leg, I'm going to my top 3 picks, and same thing with the third leg. And then the fourth and fifth leg, I'm going with my top 2 picks.
Indeed. So what we have is $100 budget. We try to pretend like we're going to the track every single day with just a $100, like we're at Gulfstream today. Got $100 in our pocket, and we want to make it through the whole day. So if you bring 200 with you, 500, whatever your increment is, just keep that in mind. Charles is putting some of his to work right away in race number 1 with that pick 5. I'm going to start off with the 8 horse 2, Midnight Bella as well. That horse really isn't all that far away from winning 5 races in a row. And with the scratches today, as you mentioned, Charles, probably going to be, I think, going to ride shotgun, to be honest with you, behind the 1 horse. And then it's going to use that late pace edge to go ahead and close the deal. If not, the 1 horse, Lucky Peridot. I don't know. Anyway, Peridot. This one's ran the top last race, speed figure last time out. Going to drop in class after running 3 speed figure increases in a row. And what I like about this horse is last time out showed some huge improvement through 2 furlongs and 4 furlongs. So I think you're going to see this one move forward off the start today. Number 6, Social Engagement, also showed some more early pace in the start of its last race. Going to drop in class for the second run off the bench. So maybe some improvement in store for Social Engagement. And finally, number 7, Frankie's Girl, has some closing kick. Got pinched at the start of her last race, so maybe a little bit of a better start can make the difference here. Although I think in the short field, you probably want to be closer to the front than the back. I take it the dog is in the house again today.
No, laundry's going.
Oh, the laundry. All right. I thought maybe that was the dog scratching and kicking. All right. So we're going to go off to race number 2 while Charles does his laundry. It is 5 furlongs on the all-weather track. This is a maiden claiming $25,000 for a purse of $32,000. If you want to know the type of horse that typically wins at 5 furlongs on the all-weather, early speed gets the job done. 34% of the time, they go gate to wire. A little bit of a rail discount. 2 and out are fair, with 4 and plus being just a little bit better than everything else. So with speed being a factor in race number 2, what do we see here?
Okay, with the 2 simulation says that 62% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. You know, this horse does have a lot of speed, so I kind of almost see that. And the 5 has a 28% chance. I believe those 2 will be out there winging it. And then when it comes to simulation odds, the 2, what is that?
About 3 to 10, 4 to 10. Yeah.
Something
So
like
2 to
that.
5.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, but right now at morning line, slightly over 2 to 1. And then that's it on when it comes to simulation odds.
Yeah, it does look like that 2 horse, no deliberation there at the 5 to 2 morning line favorite, all the way down to about 1 to 2. Still going to find some value in that horse. In race number 2, we do find that this 2 horse, it is a pilot type, does have a +7 early pace advantage through 4 furlongs. So if it can hang on for just another 2 furlongs, that horse has a pretty good shot of being your winner. not a whole lot of other speed in here with it. You got the 5 horse, and the 5 horse though shows speed, but it's moving up in class. So maybe not going to be as fast against this crew. The 6 is another one that might show some pace, but it too is moving up in class. So maybe not as much as you expect. Most of your class droppers are over here in the back. And then you got the 7, the first time starter. So maybe the 7 is the one, Charles, that can challenge the 2 for the lead, because you just don't know what you're going to get when the gates open with that one. But when they take the picture, who's going to be the one that's smiling?
Actually, I think it's going to be the 3. This horse drops in class. You get Tyler and Mike Maker combo. So Maker gets 17% with these all year long. So this horse should be ready to rock and roll. But like you said, the 5 has some speed. He was claimed last time. He moves up in class, which, kind of have to. And the 2 is my third choice. Tries the all weather for the first time, has speed, claimed last time out. So, that's why I put all 3 of them in my pick 5 there.
Mm-hmm.
And then my final choice here is my price horse is the 4. The 4 ran second last time out, should be closing at the end. And I also have a trifecta box here with all 4 of my horses. Trying to think that maybe the 2 might, get out of the first and second place and maybe be a little price there.
Well, I think the 2, no deliberation, as I mentioned, is going to have that lead with only 2 furlongs to go. So it's got speed. It's going to get first time Lasix today on top of that. So you got the speed, you got the Lasix. That means the speed should hold even longer today. And then this is the first start for trainer Jorge Delgado after the horse was claimed. And he clicks at the winning percentage at about 29% first off the claim. So I think you got a lot of check marks and no deliberations boxes. Could be hard to beat here today. Number 5, Dark Desert Highway. Oh, cool breeze in my hair. A little bit of a tribute to Hotel California. How about that? Improved a lot in the second race, and that was the first race on the all-weather surface for Dark Desert Highway. 11 furlongs of workout since then, and one really fast one, 3 furlongs and 35 flat. So I think they're going to push this 5 horse for sure towards the front. Number 6, Raka Cruz. This guy's stepping up in class. Ran a little bit of a Z pattern last time out. So your early pace figures were here, a little bit of a dip in the middle of the race, and then responded in the back half of the race, and is the lone P horse. So a lot of times when you have a horse that sits between the speed and the closers and it's there by itself, those guys get perfect trips. Finally, number 7, Roaring Fire. This is a first timer. Like I said, we don't know what to expect from this one, but I do like the fact that last 4 furlong workout was in 47-4. Charles, you're a trainer. 47-4 for 4 furlongs. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's moving.
And then I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta here. I wanted to do a pick 4, but I really didn't feel comfortable with some of the next races coming up. So I just went with the trifecta 2, 5, 6 with the 2, 5, with the 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for 50 cents. That's the way I see that one. So we both kind of went the try route there. In race number 3 at Gulfstream Park, the horses, they're going to run 6 furlongs for a maiden claiming 12.5. This is the race why I couldn't put together a pick 4, because I think in these maiden 12.5s, either you got to have a horse that you really like, or you kind of have to really consider the all button. I feel like this could potentially prove to be an all race, Charles, where a shot comes in at 6 furlongs. The type of horse that typically wins has early speed, a full 37%. So a big number go wire to wire. There is a slight rail bias. So maybe Stephanie, my love, that was my grandmother's name. Definitely. I love my grandmother. She's passed, unfortunately. But 2 and out are fair. What do you see in terms of early speed, where speed makes it to the winner's circle, wire to wire, 37% of the time?
Well, it looks like right now the 1 has a 48% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. But the 4 is going to have something to say about that. It looks like slightly over 30% having the lead at the quarter pole. And even the 7s should be out there pushing it. I personally believe the 6 could even push it a little bit myself. Then when it comes to the simulation odds, the 1 horse should be just slightly over even money. And Morning Line says slightly over 4-1. And then that 8 horse down at the bottom, just under even money is our simulation odds, and the morning line says 3-1.
Indeed. It looks like you can find some good value in this race. Indeed.
Hmm.
So maybe we can find a winner that pays a little bit of money. Our pace worksheet says this race is really weirdly shaped. And this happens a lot in these maiden claiming races because these horses are dropping and dropping and dropping or running at this level because they really haven't been involved. So you can see the class droppers here. A lot of them are getting the square box to them as well. So that's something to keep in mind, meaning these are the ones that have some early speed. The 5-horse, which is a class dropper, out here on its own, you got to consider this one. If it gets the lead, it might never look back. If you're looking for a horse that has a little bit of late pace, that belongs to that 6-horse over here. It's 12 points advantage over everybody else. If you combine early speed and late speed, a 5-point advantage over everybody else. So the 6-horse positioning is going to be key for that guy. If he's close coming out of the turn, it's going to be really hard for the rest of this crew to hold him off, Charles. And I think that's probably where you're going with the 6-horse as your top choice.
Yeah, I think this horse has the tactical speed. Doesn't have to have the lead. Can get on the lead. Doesn't matter. Chantel's riding this horse. Tactical speed, like I said, was claimed last time out. Trainer gets 29% first after the claim. And it's also first time blinkers, so they're probably trying to get it to focus a little bit more. So I'm expecting something out of this horse today. The 8-horse is an interesting horse. It drops in class today. His last race, I mean, oh my gosh, the horse reared, the rider lost his stirrups. I mean, the horse
Just
didn't
about
have a
everything can
chance.
go wrong, could went wrong, huh?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
And
it's the Murphy's
guess
Law
what?
horse.
And Luis rides him right back after all that. So that tells me something.
Mm-hmm.
And the trainer gets 31% when he drops him down 2 levels or more. And then my third choice here is the 4. That's another one that kind of has that tactical speed. I think it'd be most likely on the front end. Um, the trainer gets 33% when he drops him down 2 plus. And he adds blinkers today, and he also drops in class, as we just finished saying. And then the 1-horse is another one that has some tactical speed, like it says on the chart there, has a 48% chance of being on the lead. Trainer gets 19%. This is the first time LASIX user. Like you said, if personally, if the 6 doesn't win, then I think it's wide open.
Yeah, I think it's kind of wide open to begin with because of the maiden claiming. These maiden claiming races, sometimes you could just pull a number out of the hat and be just as successful, I feel like. I think the 6-horse Botita, first off the claim, as you mentioned, trainer Jorge Delgado hits at a nice 29%. He puts that horse out on the track for the first time after buying it. Since Jorge has bought this horse, has 2 really nice workouts, so I like that. But I'm kind of curious about this drop, Charles, because if this horse doesn't win and gets claimed because of the purse money, they're guaranteed to lose money. So they're going to claim the horse. They're going to drop the horse. If it doesn't win and it gets claimed, they lose money. So the drop, the blinkers, I feel like this is the spaghetti approach. Maybe like they bought this horse, got it on the track, and realized they didn't want it. I don't know. So that's a big concern to me, although that 12-point that late pace edge is one that I feel like gives this horse a good in-race advantage if it's got the proper position. There's a lot of question marks for me, though, off of all these changes and then the chance to lose money. Doesn't make sense. Number one,
but sometimes they're willing to lose money too, like
but in the next race?
No, it's basically there might be something that's wrong with the horse that it might be further down the road that'd be a major problem.
Still a major warning sign to me. I feel like if you claim him and then you ran him a few times and maybe he doesn't perform or she doesn't perform, and then you want to move the horse out of your barn, that makes sense to me. But you buy it, and the next time out, you're running it in a situation where you could lose money right away. And I can't imagine as an owner, that's not the goal, right? I think their hope is that the horse doesn't get claimed and it wins. I think that's the best case scenario for them. But if it gets claimed and the horse runs second, third, or off the board, they're going to lose a decent chunk of change in just a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, Stephanie, my love. This horse is getting first-time LASIX. Did run some better fractions last time out at 6 furlongs versus 5.5 furlongs. Again, I think this is a case where the LASIX is a booster shot. It's like taking one of those 5-hour energies when you're tired in the middle of the afternoon. Number 8, Sisterin. This one has been backed by horse players in every one of its 3 races, but it really hasn't been close in terms of winning. So maybe this is a level where it can get the job done. And then finally, number 2, Quick Style, a first-timer in here. And quite honestly, even with the 6 and the 1 and the 5 and everybody else, I'm not so sure there's a whole lot in here to beat. And that's why they're running at maiden claiming 12-5. So why not give the first-timer a chance to see if it can come out of the barn and win? I am going to go with a 50-cent pick 3, 1-6. I do think one of those 2 horses is your most likely winner. The 1, 3, 6, 7 with the 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, and I have the $5 exacta box. Just my top 2 picks, the 6, 8.
Indeed, yeah, and I think this race is pretty much one that's wide open, and maybe the one horse can stay around 4 to 5 and provide some value for us and hit in our picks. Race 4 is the 7 furlong, claiming 8,000, purse of 23 grand. So like this would be a situation like if you bought the horse for 8 and then you ran it for 23 and you put him in for claiming, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense, right? Because if you get it, you can win. But at 7 furlong, you can make some money. But at 7 furlongs, I like to know the kind of horse that typically wins at this distance. 7 furlongs does favor early speed. 26% go wire to wire. There's a rail penalty, so Commanding General, one of the early favorites, might have a little bit of a discount here. 2 through 7 play fair, 8 and out. There is a positive bonus. Charles, Commanding General. Oof, looks like the horse could be could fight a little bit with the post position. But what do we see as far as simulation is concerned?
Yeah, it's basically his to lose with. Yeah, he has an 82% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. I have him down at myself as probably the leader. And then when it comes to simulation odds, it looks like the 7. Slightly over 2 to 1. Simulation odds in the morning line is slightly over 4 to 1.
So yeah, that's where we can find some value. There are a couple scratches in here. The 2 horse, that's why it's red and with what's lined out. First rule in Silent Chaos, taking the day off. And how does that impact our way to the winner's circle worksheet? Well, when we look at it, 2 horse should have been part of the lead. Well, he's not going to have that role today. The 4 horse was probably the most versatile horse in the field. Well, he's not in here either. If you're looking for that early speed, I do think unquestionably the 1 is going to be your leader. Through the first quarter of a mile has an 8-point advantage. Through the first half mile, a 7-point advantage. And according to Craig Milkowski from Timeform USA, every 5 points in this case equals about 1 length. So 8 should be about a length and a half at the quarter mile marker, and maybe it maintains that lead through the half mile marker. I think the one they're going to have to catch. Charles, do you have it as your top pick as well?
Not as my top pick, but I have to agree that's the one they're going to have to catch. I got the 3 on top, and this horse drops big. It's sort of like the last race you just finished talking about. A big drop on this horse. Tactical speed, they claimed it last time out. The trainer has 25% when it's 90 plus days off. If this horse is ready, I think he could win this race. I think he could sit right off the 1. If he's not, then the 1's going to cruise. I think the 1 is my second choice. He was claimed last time out. Trainer gets 21% first after the claim. Gets Paco, another plus. And then you got the 7 horse is my third choice here. This horse does have some of that tactical speed. I think he could sit right off of them also. Third after a layoff, Vasquez stays on this horse. And then my price horse will be the 8 here. Has some tactical speed, drops in class. Looks like this horse will like this distance. Overall, I think this is the wide open race. This is the why I did not play the first pick 4, I should say.
Yeah, well, you did the pick 5, so you're in.
I did the pick 5, and I said that's enough of spreading myself.
Indeed, you don't want to jeopardize it in this wide open race. I didn't want to jeopardize it in race 3. In race 4, number 1, Commanding General. Catch me if you can. This guy's got a big early pace advantage through this field where speed does win. The rail is a little bit of a penalty, but I think he's fast enough to get up off the rail and get positioned on the track in the lane that they want to be in. So I don't know that he can't overcome that. It is the lone EP horse, so he does have some versatility in case he doesn't get the lead. Then he can still go ahead and win the race. And a very consistent performer. Number 7, Joe DiBaggio. This horse, when you look at its race internals last time, or better from the beginning to the middle to the end, I always like to see that. And you got potential for more in the second start off the break. Number 6, Here Comes Bullet. Made some speed figure gains in the last pair of starts with so speed figure jumped. And I should really make my notes a little bit easier to understand. So in the race number 2 off the bench, his speed figures jumped in both of the last 2 times. And is a horse that likes to run at the distance 3 times, no wins, but a second and a couple of thirds. So maybe a good horse to put in your gimmicks there. Maybe a decent price on that 6 horse too at 10-1 morning line odds. And then number 3, Proverb. This guy's shipping in from Southern California. A January 6th work at Palm Meadows, 4 furlongs in 48 flat. Not the fastest, but it is a solid workout. So it tells me the horse is ready to go. The question is, how does it do on the Gulfstream Park in its first trip in the California track, in the Florida track? I think it is an open race as well. That's why I did a trifecta box, something I ordinarily don't do. But I did it here today with the 1, the 3, the 6, and the 7. Race 5, Charles, as we work our way to the mid part of the card. This one is a 1.5 miles on the turf, so they're going to be going for a long, long way. The rail is set at 28 feet, and from looking at that, what that basically does is make the stretch run to the wire a little bit longer than if it's set at 0. So maybe puts a little bit more emphasis on closing. Has that been your experience as a trainer? The farther the rail is off, the more it neutralizes speed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically, yes.
Okay, so
the closer to 0, the better for a speed horse. That's basically what we always say.
All right, so just keep that in mind when you're doing your handicapping and you see the rails at a certain distance. The closer it is to 0, the more you want to lean towards speed. I think about 15 feet is about where you start to get that break point.
The notice that there is a break point. Yeah, most of the time, yes. You're correct.
All right. Well, I mean, just try to help out as much as we can in terms of helping when people do their handicap. Because I know when I first started getting in the game, I had no idea what difference where the rail made. I don't know about you. I mean, you were a trainer, so you probably had a better understanding.
Yeah. Well, through all the years, I kind of, I had to learn just like any other horse player. Pretty much, day to day, you finally start figuring out what's going on. So
yeah, I mean, it's just something you pick up pieces along the way for sure. So at 1.5 miles, they've run, I think, 5 races. They've all favored stalkers, closers. None have managed to get to the lead and win. Post positions, basically, the more outside you are, the better off you are. So speed really doesn't matter as much here, although I do think there is a horse in here that has enough speed to carry that it might not win, but might fade its way into the exacta, trifecta, or superfecta spot. That horse is the 3. Memories are magic, Charles. He's got a real good shot to be the pace setter.
Yeah, basically a 60% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. And looking at this, that's probably the only horse, in my opinion, that would probably wants the lead. But there is other speed in here. You can see it, like you said, the 2 possibly at 28%. And of course, the 1 slightly over 10%. And plus, remember, all these horses never have ran this far. I mean, 1.5 miles, that's only run 6 times a year throughout the whole United States, something like that. It's some number like that, very low. And then the simulation odds, it looks like the 2, we're saying 4-1, and the morning line says 8-1. And then the 5 horse, slightly over even money. And you're looking at slightly over 3-1 at the morning line.
Indeed, yeah. So this is a race shape. Again, closers have done well in the races that have started already. And as you can expect, there aren't a whole lot of horses in here that want to be on the lead or co-pilots. You got a bunch of pressure types, a couple pressure types in here. With that 3 horse, that's the one I mentioned. It does show on the simulation it's going to get the lead. And then when I did the math, it said it has an 11-point pace advantage, so up to 2 lengths through 6 furlongs. So halfway through the race, this horse is going to be running its normal stride, not going any faster than it needs to go. Could be 2 lengths, maybe 2.5 lengths ahead of the next closest horse. And if they can run decent fractions, maybe have a chance to steal. I mean, if they go off in like 53 or something like that, they might never catch that horse at all. But if you're looking for horses that have the late pace, most late pace, and if you add early pace and late pace together, has the top score there. A horse that might have the most versatility in here is the one horse because you can pressure or close. So if the 3 jogs out there and they run in 55, the horse can really put some pressure on him and keep it honest. But if these 2, the 3 and the 6 really blast it out, he could sit right behind them and has enough late kick to hold off these at the end. But that's all pace dependent. When it's over, Charles, how's it going to hold on. I almost pressed the wrong button. I almost left the studio. When it's all over, how are they going to line up?
I believe the 5's the winner in this race. This horse was claimed last time out with Mike Maker. You know, this is what Mike Maker is known for right here. This 100%. He claims a horse and he usually lays them off for a little bit, gets to know them, and then he puts them right on turf and he wins with them. And he's known to bring them up to the stakes level with them most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a typical 100% Maker move here. And Maker gets 17% when it's 90 plus days off. He gets 16% first after the claim. Luis is on board this horse. I think this horse has an excellent shot of winning this race. And then you have the 7 horse is my second choice here. This one has some tactical speed, more on the closing side of it. Ran 3rd last time out. This is 2nd after a layoff for him. And then my 3rd choice here is the 4. The 4 ran 2nd last time out. You got a trainer that gets 22% when he goes from all weather to turf. So that's not a bad angle. This horse will be closing also. And then I have the speed horse as my price horse. Ran 2nd last time out. Second after a layoff. You got a hot trainer last 14 days. And like you said, he's kind of the most versatile. I think he has speed to go to the front or sit off the leader. And then he has a little kick at the end too.
I agree with you. I like Most Wanted Man. He does have the top turf pedigree score in the field. And the simulations say you got to have him. So if Mike Maker's got him repped and ready to go, it could be your winner. Number 4, Border War. Just missed on the all-weather track last time out after starting its career on grass. Going to go back to grass today, so maybe that tune-up will put the horse in form. If it rains down there and they move the, because, Florida weather's like that. 1 minute it's sunny, next minute it's pouring rain. If we get one of those weird freak storms and they move this race to the all-weather, would be my top pick. Number 3, Memories Are Magic. Again, I think this one has a really good chance to run really kind of slowish fractions, get out to the front by himself and make it very difficult for people to run him down. And then finally, number 1, Hitting Bombs. Like baseball player, everybody loves the folks who hit the bombs. It is the lone PC type, so the versatile horse in the field, extremely consistent performer, and should get the trip that jockey Julien Leparoux wants. So there will be no excuses for this horse not to perform well. For me, the key horse in this race is not necessarily the one I think is going to win. I think it's the 3 horse because he's got that speed. If he can get the right fractions, he's got a shot to go wire to wire and maybe just get edged out at the wire. So I'm going to do $1 exact the box 3 with the 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7. And hopefully the 3 wins at a price and I catch a nice horse in second place for a price and get one of those exactas where it can pay for the whole day, Charles. That's always the plan.
Nice. Yeah.
Indeed. So Natasha Solari, thank you for the love. We appreciate that. The thumbs up on Facebook. If you agree, we appreciate that. Chandra, how are you today? If you have any picks that you like and you want to share with us today for Gulfstream Park, Delta Downs, whatever else is running today, parks, all the tracks, just please let us know. We are a community trying to find more winners no matter where they are. Our next stop on the Gulfstream Park card is race number 6, where the horses are going to run approximately 5.5 furlongs on the all-weather track, claiming a $20,000 non-winners of 2 lifetime. 5.5 furlong, profile of a winner, favors early speed with a little more than 1 out of 4 horses going wire to wire. The post positions are fair 1 through 7. You get a touch of a bonus if you wear the pink 8 or higher. As far as the simulator says for race number 6, Charles, the 3 horse, Bunty Windermere, is going to sit this one out. Had a chance to be your pace setter, so I think a lot of that's going to fall down to Noble Dreamer.
Yeah, I think so. The 7 did have a 32% now. I think that increased, maybe doubled.
Probably 100% now.
Yeah, probably. So, But then, there is other speed horses in here, but this one has the speed of the speed. When it comes to that. Um, when it comes to simulation odds, we have the two. We're saying 15-1, and the morning line says 20. So there might be a good little overlay for you. And then the 5 horse is the just slightly under even money, and you got 4-1 odds on the morning line, and that's it when it comes to simulation odds.
Okay, so they got 1 minute to post down there at Gulfstream Park. It means the race will start in about 10 minutes, so we'll be able to finish this. Uh, Race number 6, as we mentioned, that 3, one that had a lot of speed, is gone. So that now is going to fall to the 7 and the 5. Those are the 2 that have the most early speed. If you take a look at this race shape, it's kind of pretty well balanced now with it out. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 horses that are either going to be towards the front or pressure the leader, 3 in the back. So everybody should be in their comfort zone. The one horse in here that does have a in-race advantage does look to me to be the 5 horse. If you put together the early part of the race and add it to the late part of the race, a 6-point advantage over everybody else. When you start to get close to 10, and that's still a little bit of way away, those horses are one you absolutely have to have in your picks. And even at 6, it's one that you have to 100% consider at the very minimum. You considered him, Charles, but you put him 4th.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the speed horse here in this race of the 7. Ran second last time out, and this is second after a layoff. When he came back, he ran very well, and like I said, second, and he was off for a year and a half, before that race. So there was something majorly went wrong, and they fixed him up, and he's ready to go again. The 8 horse is my second choice here. This horse has some of that tactical speed. He can sit real close to him. Tyler stays on. Trainer gets 25% when he drops him down 2 levels or more. And then the 6 horse is my third choice here. The horse drops in class today, has some of that tactical speed. Luis is on the horse, which is a plus. And then the 5 horse, like we were just finished talking about, is my price horse. This horse ran 4th last time out, but he only got beat by 3/4 of a length. Third after a layoff here, and the trainer gets 19% overall in the year. This is why I picked, when I played my pick 4 here, I hit the all button. I think this has a chance of having a price in this race. And then I went the 2-4 in the second leg, and then I singled the last 2 legs.
All right, I'm going to go fast because they're going to bring up this first race in a second. So Noble Dreamer just missed after a little more than a year off last time out. Nice maintenance work in between races. Should be better. Race 2 after more than a year on the sidelines. Number 5, Walks Like a Lady, third after a layoff. Just missed in its last 2. So that should be one that Charles likes. And as we mentioned, has that really good early pace, late pace advantage over the rest. Number 8, Tempora. Dropping multiple classes, much better fractions last out. So cutting back in distance should also be helpful. Then finally, number 6, Love My Job. Last race was better than it looks on paper. I think switching to jockey Luis Saez, who was our guest on Monday on Horse Center. So go back and watch that show. Hints that trainer, and you got to love this name, Happy Alter, thinks his horse is live today. I'm going to do a pick 4, 5, 7, 8 over the 4, 5, 8 over the 1, 7. Over the 4, 5, and 8 as they're loading into race 1. Let's take again a look at our picks. Charles likes that 1, the 8th horse as his single. It is 1-1 in his pick 5 to get it started here. I'm going to go 1-8 all. The 8 again is the even money favorite. The 1 horse right now is the third favorite at 7-2. The 3 horse, one that neither one of us has right now, is the second favorite, Charles, at 5-2. How did we miss that 3 horse? So it's a 1, 3, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 3, 6, 7. That's what we have. And they're all lined up, waiting for the starter to get the okay to open the gates. And so far, well, it looks like there's a little bit of something that's going wrong here. Oh, I guess they had to flip a button. The starting gate's not working. There they go. And they're off. Dirt's flying. Well, grass would be flying in this case. As you mentioned, Charles, we both kind of figured the 8 horse would kind of gallop its way towards the front, not necessarily press, but just get itself well positioned. The 6 horse has indeed taken the lead right now. So you have the 6 horse on the rail, followed by the 8, just kind of loping along in second, followed by the 1 and third down on the rail. The 3 horse, Peace Seeker, is in 4th, probably about 2 lengths off the leader. maybe nose to tail on the one horse, and the trailer in the field is number 8. Midnight. No, that's the 7 horse. Excuse me. That's Frankie's Girl. So sorry. If you had Midnight Bella, sorry to scare you there. As they're coming down the backstretch, it still remains the 6 horse on the lead, followed by the 8 horse, who's kind of tightening up a little bit. The 1 horse, that duo's put a little bit of separation between themselves and the 1 horse. They're coming down to the opening quarter in 24 and 6, the opening half in 48 and 23. The jockey's asking for a little bit out of that 8 horse already. Got a good hold on that 1, Charles, who looks like he's going to come up the rail and really make this race interesting in the end. I don't know that the 8 horse is going to be there. I think the 1 horse is the one that might get this race won, but he's kind of boxed in. The question is, does the 6 let him get the rail? But there they go. Yeah, that 1 horse is going to get a crappy trip. That's the only reason the 1 horse is not going to win. I think the 8 horse has a shot of being disqualified, and down the stretch they come. It looks to me like the 8 horse is going to get the win at 1-1, the 6 and the 7. But I think there's absolutely going to be an objection in there because that 1 horse got cut off both ways.
There might be an objection, but it won't be overruled.
Well, is that wishful thinking? Are you
no?
Because of your bet?
It was more the 6 doing the cutting off the 1. It was not the 8. The 8 was in his lane. And the 6 kind of left that rail open, and then he went in. So that made the 1 try to squeeze between them.
Yeah, but then the 8 also cut off that space too. So because he came in and on him. I think both this horse. I'd be surprised if there's not an objection where all the horses that finish first, second, and third are blinking.
We will find out in a second. I mean, I'm not saying there won't be. I'm just saying it won't be taken down.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the front view shows. But yeah, I'm glad for both of us because if the 8 doesn't get that, neither one of us is alive, right?
Right. But I mean, I agree with you. The front view tells all, really.
Yeah, so definitely when 8, 6, and then 1, and then or maybe the 7 creeped in there for second.
I think the 7 might have creeped in for third.
Yeah, so
maybe
8. So 8, 6, and 7, and 1. So we had the superfecta, but it's only 5 horses in the race. So if we did have it, would be pretty bad. All right, Charles. So let's go on to race number 7. Let's see what happens indeed with the objections. If there are any, there may not be. But I'm pretty certain that there will be. In race 7, they're going to run 7 furlongs, optional claiming $25,000. And I think that might be a factor in this race that they're optional claiming. We'll talk about that in just a second. Purse here is $37,000. As we mentioned, the way to the winner's circle for 7 furlongs does favor early speed. About a quarter of the horses take them from gate to wire. There's a little bit of a rail penalty, so High Fashion Lady at 20-1. They maybe threw that one there because it's on the rail, so it doesn't really hurt that one's chances, according to the morning line odds. 2 through 7 play fair, 8 and out. There is a little bit of an additional bonus. And race number 7, our pace sheet and our odds say there is 1 horse in here that's probably going to be the one that got to run down here too.
Yeah, the 8 horse here is 62%. Well, actually 63%. I mean, so doggone close. 63% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. But the 7 might have something to say about that a little bit. Has a 23% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. So they probably would be pushing each other pretty good. Then when it comes to simulation odds, it looks like the 5 is slightly over even money, but we have morning line at 5-1. And that's about it. Yeah, that's it.
Let's see what the pace of this race tells us about what to expect. They've got a pretty balanced race. You got a couple horses up here that like to be pilots, the 2 and the 7. And back here, you got a trio of horses that want to be closers. So you got these 3 horses, each one occupying a position by itself. The 4 horse being one that can pilot or co-pilot. The 8 horse, a pressure horse that gets the box around it. So I think this one does agree with the pace scenario set up by the simulation. Going to probably be your leader. And then the 5 is that versatile type in here that has a plus 7-point advantage for early pace and late pace. So creeping up closer and closer to 10 points there. I've seen this many, many, many times, this sort of race shape. And I would say probably 75% of the time, the winner's going to come out of the middle. Believe it or not, there was not an objection there. I'm kind of so shocked, to be honest with you. So the official 8, 6, 7, 1, 3 finished fifth, that horse that got bet down. And thankfully, neither one of us had him in there. So we look smart today, at least based upon that 3. But again, I think you're probably going to find the winner come out of the 4, 5, and 8. Charles, where do you think you're going to find your winner?
Well, I think the 2. I like the 2 a lot in this race. This horse drops. He has speed. Once again, Mike Maker trains this horse. He gets 16% when it's 46 plus days. Solid works on this horse. You go back and you look at the last time this horse raced, and you look at every workout. Excellent, very good. And once again, I think Maker is going to have a very good day. He already started off with a winner. This horse cuts back in distance also. So the 4 horse is my second choice in this race. This one has some tactical speed. He could sit a little bit closer, I think, but ran third last 2 times, and he's back on dirt today, so that might be a plus for him. And then the 5 horse won the last 2 times. Second time on Lasix, which I do like that angle a lot better than the first time Lasix. Moves up, but after you win a couple of times in a row, I think you should start moving up in class.
Yeah.
And yeah, or there's something majorly wrong. And then the 8 horse is my price horse, which will be the horse probably winging it. The trainer gets 50% when he uses first time Lasix. Trainer gets 15% when he's got him 46 plus days off. So you got a little bit of a fresh horse out winging it. That could be a little dangerous also.
Wheeling and Dealing is my first pick, the 5 horse. This guy's won 2 in a row, better fractions by a second from the half-mile marker to the finish in its last race. The number 8, the Black Belt Barbie, a lone P horse with enough early pace to press for the lead. And I think the first time Lasix is really going to speed this one up, Charles. Number 4, Another Day Gone By, much better at the end of her last race. The maintenance workout since that. And the last time the horse had a maintenance workout and then went to the track, guess what? It came back to win that next race. Finally, number 6, Tribute, ran the same fractions at 7 furlongs than it did at 5.5 furlongs. So if you do the math, that's actually faster. And this horse has got a shot to be better in the second race after a layoff and catching a dose of first-time Lasix. What's a tough call for me over your 2 horse, Charles? I don't know if it's a plus or a negative for you that I don't have the 2 in my top 4.
Well, you know what I'm going to say. It's a plus.
Yeah, I don't think it's worked out that way, though, for you throughout the course of the show. 50%, 50-cent trifecta for me, 4, 5, 8, over to 5, 8, over to 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8. So I do have the 2 horse in there. Like I said, it was a tough call for me in there, which horse gets that next spot.
And I have 15 to win on the 2, and then I'm doing a $4 pick 3. I'm singling the 2, singling the 7 in the second leg, singling the 8.
So that would be, as Charles deems it, ice cold.
Ice cold.
Indeed, ice cold. Well, you better hope your picks are not ice cold today, Charles.
My first win bet won, so there you go.
There you go. Well, you're off to a good start on a 1-to-1. Take a bow.
Take a bow. Thank you. I'm 100%. See you later.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. Close up the shop. Time to go to the beach. Race 8 is 1 mile, and down there you can go to the beach. Actually, I was in the ocean. It's crazy to think, when you live in Chicago, that you're going to be swimming outdoors in, God's gifted waters and February the 3rd. That's just, if you do that here in Chicago, you're one of those polar bear club types. But anyway,
yeah, no thanks.
Indeed. I did that as a kid. We skipped school one time when I lived in the Poconos. We used to go swimming at this place called Red Rock, and it was a place where the river bent. So if you've been around rivers where they bend, the water, the flow slows down, so the water pools. And you can swim there. And there was a bridge where the train would go by. We jump off the bridge, we jump off the cliffs, and so on. And like you see in one of those Mountain Dew commercials or something like that. But so it was one of those days, in March, where you just get one of those weird freak days where it's 75, 80 degrees, and it feels like 100 because you're used to 20. So we all skipped school. We went down the Red Rock, and we're like, let's go swimming in a river. After it's been a winter, man, I jumped in that water. I swear to you, I don't think I've ever felt anything colder in my life. And that includes taking ice baths for wrestling. So it was, one of those things that it's seared on my brain. I'll never forget it.
It'll wake you up big time. Woo.
Yeah. So 1 mile and 70 yards. You don't have to be awake at the beginning of the race, Charles, because it's a 50-50 race where stalkers and speed, it don't really matter where you are on the track. You have a chance to win. this maybe a small chance if you're the leader, because only 10% have managed to go wire to wire at 1.70 on the Tapeta. Post positions are fair, except if you got the black 2 or the blue 3. Those two have suffered a little bit in terms of finding the winner circle. So if speed matters in here for race number 8, Charles, maybe King Alfredo might want to temper it down a bit.
Yeah, basically a 47% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. Yeah, that horse probably will be on the lead, but there's a couple other horses that have some speed. You look at that 4, he's got a 20% chance of having the lead at the quarter, and same thing with that 7. 7 basically has a 20% chance. And I think the 7 will either be on the lead or be sitting right there, myself personally. Simulation odds, it looks like the 4 is a big overlay. You got 5-1, and you right now morning line is 15. That's a nice little overlay. But still look at the 5 also. Pretty much the same boat. Almost 5-1, and the morning line says 12.
Yeah, and it looks like the 7 horse at 1-2 is perfectly placed odds by our good friend Pete Aiello. He's brought us into the booth down there on Saturday on Holy Bull Day. Really appreciated that. Got to watch him call a race. That was a lot of fun. We were joking about letting me call a race, but he wasn't going to have any of that.
But honestly, that's an extremely hard job?
Oh, you know what? I think here's what I think, Charles, about that. I think for people like you and me, it's an extremely hard job. But there are some people out there who have an innate ability to speak from a flow of consciousness. Like they can translate what they're seeing and speak. So for those people, it's natural, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right about that, but it does take talent, boy. Let me tell you.
Oh, yes. It's special talent for sure. And Pete, I don't know that there's anybody better than Pete if you listen to it in terms of
he's very good.
He's really good. But if you pay attention to his calls, like even when we're doing this, there's a lot of times where I'm trying to find the next word, and I'm sure you feel the same way. And you kind of get stuck and you pause for a moment, or you hem and haw, and then you finally regain your thought and move on. With Pete, if you listen, it's no hemming, no hawing, no hesitation, nothing.
Mm-hmm. You know who else? Not even a stutter. Is Trevor Dimmitt.
Oh yeah, no, they're really good ones. That's why they're at the big tracks.
Yeah, they're at the big tracks. That's right.
Indeed. All right, so let's take a look at the way to the winner's circle for race number 8. Again, this is a 50-50 race, but it's not a 50-50 balance. Almost most of the horses are horses that want to be in the back and come forward. You got these 3 over here that have a little bit of early speed, the 6 horse, the 8 horse, and the 7. So the 6, 7, and 8, again, outside positions tend to do pretty well. And this 8 horse, although it doesn't make my picks, man, I got to tell you, Charles, it scares the hell out of me. Because he's got the lone speed in here, probably going to end up over here as the E horse, an 11-point lead through a half of a mile, going to be your pace setter. And again, I don't think he's going to have to run that fast to get on the lead and maintain it. So I don't have him, Charles. Did you sneak him in your picks? You did not.
I did not, but I see what you're saying, and I agree with that. I think the 6 and the 7 are going to be right there. I think personally the 7's going to be sitting second all the way around, but those 3 horses overall are going to be out there. I think that. But I do believe that the 7 will win this race. He won last time out. He was claimed last time out. The trainer gets 21% first after the claim. And I think he has that tactical speed just enough to wait to the final turn to make his move. And then the 2 horse here has some tactical, but more on the closing side. This trainer gets 12%. Kent Sweezy, he's much better than that percentage tells you. I'm going to tell you right now, that guy is an excellent trainer, and he's a really nice guy too.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you, but he is a nice guy, because we went down there on Saturday before we went to the Holy Bull, and we went to the Palm Meadow training grounds. Really nice place for horses to train. And Kent was our chaperone. He brought us all around.
Oh, nice.
It was kind of raining out. So he's got a really nice brand new Volkswagen, like one of those SUVs. And, and I was just tracking mud in and out of his truck. And I was just like, dude, I'm going to send you a few bucks to detail. He's like, don't worry about it. He was a really nice guy. Some funny stories. And, we'd going back and forth out to the training track and kind of walked us through what to look for in a horse. And there'll be some video out on that after I can get it cut up and so forth in the next week or two. So keep an eye out for that at horseracingtoday.net. All right, Charles, sorry to interrupt you.
That's all right. My third choice here is the one horse. This horse, I think, has some tactical, but more on the closing side also. Back at the claim level that he was bought at. So, this horse might have a say, in this race. And then, of course, my price horse is the 6. This is another horse that has speed, I believe, that will go with that 8 and the 7. This horse is 13 for 24 lifetime. Not bad, if you ask me. And he fits with this type of horses.
All right, for race number 8, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the 7 horse over the channel like you. Ran the top last race. Speed figure last time out with some significant improvement for its 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. First off the claim for trainer Peter Walder. It's at 21% when he does that versus 17% overall. So a little bit of an alpha angle for Mr. Walder. Number 1, Chess's Dream is a very consistent performer. So this horse won't let you beat it. You have to beat it because it's going to put in a very good effort. Does have the top late pace in this group. And again, it doesn't matter where you are at the track, but I do think that you'll find the horses coming at the end will probably have the edge. This one does have the best combination of early speed and late speed. Number 6, Super Cohiba, lone EP horse in here, sits behind the 8 horse, the one with all of that early speed, and then tries to pounce at the end. Did run some better fractions in its first race at Gulfstream Park than it had at other tracks. And then it was a real hard call between the 5 and the 2 for me. I went the 5 horse because it has some really solid late pace numbers in here and ran some really much better fractions in its last race. I'm going to do a trifecta for 50 cents, the 1 and the 7, with the 1, the 6, and the 7. And then I did put the 2 in there in the back end, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. And that brings us to the last race to close the show today, Charles, at Gulfstream Park, and race number 9 at the South Florida track. The envy of everybody who's up north goes back to 1 mile on the turf like we started. We're going to end. This is optional claiming $25,000. The purse is 86 grand. So you got a lot of money at stake in this race, Charles. So it's a pretty good race. A mile on the turf, like we mentioned at the top of the show, does favor horses that have tactical speed. 30% went wire to wire. And the 8 and the 6 horse, the ones that finished 1 and 2 in the first leg, they were at 1 and 2 pretty much all the way around the track. So that form held true in race number 1. Post positions, all are fair except post position 2 and 3. And that pairing is a little under par. For the last time today, Charles, what do you see in our pace and value simulation?
Well, when it comes to pace, it's just saying the 5. 94% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. The horse probably will have the lead, but I think there's other speed in here to challenge it. One of them for me is the 3 possibly. When it comes to the simulation odds, we're looking at the 3 itself. Slightly over 4-1 is our simulation odds, and the morning line is 15. And then we have the 5, slightly over 5-1, and the morning line says 8. And then the 7, there's an overlay. Our simulation odds says 9, and we got 20-1, and it looks like the 8 spot where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it looks like the 8 spot on at 8-5. Good job, and Pete setting that line there. And the last time today, our race shape looks like this. It is a very balanced race as you got 2 that want to be on the lead, 3 that want to chase, and 3 that want to close. The 5 horse, as we mentioned, it's going to be right where it wants to be, pulling the cart. It does have the most early speed, but also has the best combination of early speed and late speed. So if it can run some reasonable fractions, it could go all the way. The 8 horse is another one, though, that should pressure that 5 horse and has the second best early speed, late speed combination. I think this race has a shot to give everybody the positioning it wants, but they all want to end up in one place, Charles. That's the winner circle. We both have the 8 getting there first.
Yeah, and I even put 15 to win on him. This is another one of my win bets. The 8, like you said, the first race today, it was a mile on turf. The 8 won, and now I'm going to go last race, a mile on turf, the 8 again.
Yeah, open up at 8, close with 8.
Yeah. Won last 2 times. This horse is second after a layoff. Mott gets 22% when he runs them second after a layoff. Bill Mott, he has been on fire of late.
Yeah, he has
been.
He's
been doing very, very good.
We saw him at the track, and there was smoke following him.
Yeah, no kidding. man, he's a hot trainer right now. My second choice here is the 4 horse. This horse ran second last time out. Walsh gets a 14th percent when it's 46 plus days off. So you got a fresh horse. He does have some solid workouts, and Tyler gets aboard. And then my third choice here is the 9. One last time out, back on turf. Rosario jumps on, so that makes this horse a little dangerous. And then, like I said, my final and my price horse, I think the 3 is going to do at least a little challenging on that front end, have some speed. Definitely bred for this. Has been off for 3 months, but you're going to have a fresh horse out there winging it with that 5 horse.
I like the 8 horse Frosted Oats too. Did run the top last race speed figure, and the resume says that race number 2 out of the barn is going to be better than race number 1. 5 Glitter Up, lots of early speed, stretches out for the first time, and if you watch racing long enough to know that early speed gets accentuated when it goes long, especially the first time, so that can be a winning combination. The 4 horse Fuente Ohuna, consistent performer, ran much better times last time out, and that was its first go on the Gulfstream grass. So maybe a budding horse for the course. And then finally, Daisy B. This horse is taking a considerable drop in price and in terms of class. It's not in for a price. So if you look at the 3 horse in here, you'll see there is nothing up in here in the price. So they're not putting this one up for sale. Last time it ran for an allowance, $110,000. So ran for some big money. I think they're in this race to win it, to pay the bills. And I also think putting Luis Saez up is a little bit of a tell as well, that they feel like they got a shot in this one. I'm going to do the 50-cent try again, 458 with the 5-8 with the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. Terry, I hope I kept it under $100. I think I'm at 99, but I'm not 1,000% sure. But if I made a mistake this time, I feel like I made a mistake that would be in my favor. That wraps up our picks for the entire card at Gulfstream Park. Here you can see all of them today. Race 1 is in the books. It went 8, 6, 7, and 1. So we both had all of those horses, but again, only a 5-horse field. A little later on today, if you feel like playing Delta Downs, there is a link in the description down below for guaranteed tip sheet. You will see it is indeed our free track of the day over there. Just click on that link, click on Delta Downs free track, and you'll see 3-horse Makuja, whatever that horse's name is the favorite of ours to win that first race. If you'd like to play college basketball, how did your Indiana do, by the way, yesterday? Anyhow,
It won and covered.
Beautiful. Anything for today from you from that?
Nothing today. Nothing today.
Well, if you want some college basketball play, since Charles is lacking any today, there's a link in the description down below for the picks with the professor, and you can watch him do a dance on TikTok and make his college basketball picks. It's a hell of a combination.
That's right.
And finally, if you're a horse lover like Charles, or you like the game like a lot of folks do, or someone in your family or friends do, please, there's a link in the description down below for Winning Touches. They got a lot of great stuff there. You can see for kids, they have kids stuff, they have pictures, they have candles, they have jewelry, whatever it is you're looking for. They have pages and pages and pages and pages of horse racing merchandise. You want to check them out for the person in your family who absolutely loves horse racing, and that includes yourself. Buy yourself something you like, hopefully with some of our winnings today. Charles, you're off tomorrow, right?
Yes, I am.
So Terry will be back as we go ahead and try to make our way through the Aqueduct card. I'll be back on Friday with Thomas for Foreign Fridays. We're going to have all 3 of us on Saturday, myself, Charles, and Terry. We're going to do Terry's stomping ground. So he should really knock the snot out of us at Gulfstream Park, Charles, in terms of his picks.
You mean Golden Gate?
Golden Gate, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it starts with G. It's all the same in my world, brother.
It's all the same.
Yeah, G. It's got water. A G in it. It's the same.
It's by the water. That's okay.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed. It starts with G. All right, so we're going to do that on Saturday because they have the El Camino Stakes, which is indeed a Kentucky Derby qualifier yet again as they move forward on that road to the 2023 Derby. We'll have some great stuff coming up for that as well. Charles, I don't think I missed anything. You got any final thoughts before we get up and get out of here?
No, we just once again our prayers go out to everyone in Turkey and Syria. I know this is one of the tracks that they watch on this day, so our prayers are out to all of you, and hope everybody's well.
Indeed. So we do wish the folks in Turkey and Syria nothing but the best and a quick recovery, and that the worst is over and we only go north from here. Things get better. More heartwarming stories like I saw on the news last night where they found some babies
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah, that was excellent.
I saw one where the mother, where the baby was born like during the whole thing and the umbilical cord was still attached, but unfortunately the mother had passed. But that child is in the world and hopefully a blessing to everybody who's in it. All right, Charles, no matter what it is you do today, whether you're going to do Delta Downs tonight. Oh, one final thing. You'll see on our YouTube channel now, you can get our gear. It's right down there below. Go ahead and pick on a shirt or a hat, something that you can like to help support the show. We'd appreciate it. You'll look fantastic. And at the track, people will ask you, where did you get that? All right. So if you're at the track and you're sporting some great horse racing today gear, or you got some goofy stuff on like Anaheim Angels or the San Francisco 49ers hats, no matter what you're wearing today, we hope your day ends up in one place, Charles. And that can only be
the winner's circle.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Everybody have a fantastic Wednesday. We'll see you tonight with X-Man and then tomorrow for Aqueduct. Have a fantastic Wednesday.
All right.